Alright, boys and girls, so fresh off of getting the Westchester to run, at least to some extent. It may have to come back apart, but like I said, I'm going to put it together. I want it to go to the show, and then from there I can decide what I want to do. I should probably really take it down and pressure wash, or take this thing down the car wash and wash it the way it is right now. But I don't know. We'll see if that happens. But there's some things I've been going back over and observing. I think I got the steering fixed, at least so it's a lot better. Oh yeah, it's way better. That plate was loose there. I tightened up the pivot bolt. Something that about made me cry, because I know a lot of you guys are into that stuff, but it had the baby moons on it while I was sitting there rusting away. The ring is still there from the chrome hubcaps. That's kind of sad. Realized after it was running, the belt was rubbing against the housing. So the housing is not slid in on the bottom the whole way, and it's not bolted, which is half of that problem. Well, or I believe that's all of that problem. Yeah, because the belt looks pretty straight looking at it. At least to me it does. And there's a lot of other random stuff that needs fixed, like Exhibit A here. The bolts that hold the panels on that I just kind of cut and ground off. Like these ones right here hold the pieces for the, I guess you call that the mesh down by your feet on. There's heat shields, not on the motor, so these are both the same piece here. I just brought them both up. I don't know which one will look better. I think I'll put the more orange one on here. And I only have one of these. I'll have to look at the other motor and see if there's one on here, but this one goes on this side, but underneath the carburetor, I believe. Will that fit there? I don't know. I would think I really gotta find some pictures of Westchester online, because it's not adding up too well, because I think, as you guys will be able to see there's bolt holes back here, so that should go back there, but I don't know. It might clear the bolts for the hydraulic lift there. So put them back. As you guys can see, this one and that piece I had earlier, see them two screw holes right there? That's where that goes on. And this goes down in here like so. Me being a real smart guy, put the lift bar back on it already. And that's going to have to come back off. Son of a beach. So, anyhow, we'll work on that. Also got a little oil leak down here at the line going to the head, and apparently it's leaking up at the head as well, but it is what it is. This thing's never going to see a lot of use. So, the PTO is still stuck, which again, I don't necessarily care about that for right now. I would like for it to work. So what I may do is just kind of dummy hook up the cable and let it be. Tighten up these. It'd be nice to get some kind of brakes. Yeah, pretty much where I'm at. I gotta find some kind of muffler for this thing. Something to go on there. I don't know what. I'll have to look into that, because I believe it has to go out through the side screens of the hood. Somehow, some way. I think really all the shifter cables are moving. It's actually locked in gear right now. Something I was playing with off camera. It's got the typical L slop in the transmission, about that much. So it's locked in axle and high side, and transmission, oh yeah, the Swiftmatic in high, and the transmission or the planetary shift is in low, which is probably how this thing will get run most of the time. PTO cable's hooked back up. I got to remember what clamps that to the frame. And at some point, maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to guarantee this, but at some point during this restoration, this thing is going to get painted. Why? Because it is so rusty. So rusty. So, without further ado, I'm kind of doing like cosmetic stuff to make it work and make it run, but I'm not necessarily trying to make it run, if that makes sense. I could try and do some kind of throttle or minimum at least choke, because if I could adjust the choke room, the seat will help. And supposedly, a Kohler air filter setup will bolt on here, which I kind of believe that. And then there's the obvious, the wiring. And I'm pretty sure that starter solenoid is bad. That's why I was doing what I was doing, but I could be wrong. Not that I can't get one of those, I just don't have one on there. So anyhow, I've talked for nearly 7 minutes. Showed all the junk I gotta do, so I'm gonna get the grinder out and start cutting the bolts. See, on this side it's still here. That's probably where that one spacer goes that I found, because there's a spacer on that side. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of monkeying around, and there's probably gonna be more. We'll be back after a few choice words moments than anything, and yeah, we'll go from there, guys. So guess I'll bring you guys back if I get something done here. I kind of need to pick a place and concentrate on it, which is hard for me to do, and we'll go from there. Maybe I need to look and see if I got another turf tire over there, huh? At least have 4 matching. No, can't be. I would settle for the, the $40 wheelbarrow tires, like, it's on the front of that. That tire is junk, but that tire over there, not too bad. Alright, I gotta look around some. I'm sure I have tires somewhere. Okay. Anyhow, now that I've jabber-jawed for almost 8 minutes, I'll be back with you guys. Alright guys, it's been an hour or so. I do have another turf tire mounted up, and I had some decent looking rim halves. The back one is actually painted black, but you can't see it, so put that back there, white one there. Originally this should have had Baby Moon, the chrome hubcaps on it. Obviously I don't have that, and this tractor is nowhere near needing that. Repops would be good enough for me. So, anywho's, and in other news, I realized I do believe I am a genius, and I had the way the air shrouds went on there reversed. So the smaller one I think goes on the exhaust side and goes underneath of that. I think. I'm going to go, I've been saying this for like 3 nights, I'm going to go and look at Westchester pictures. I never do. Never do. But anyhow, I am about 82% sure this goes on the left side, and those 2 big holes are for the 2 spacers to go into right there. So, yeah. Like I said, only got to undo about half of what I did. Great. Grand. So, but in all reality, considering I'm just pushing it into the mall show, I really don't need that per se. The other thing I'm looking at is, see these holes here? That was the other thing that made me realize I'm stupid. So this will sit, just envision that it goes the whole way down in there and sits. But I'm thinking there's supposed to be a piece that goes from here to on top of the cylinder head. So I don't know. Again, I gotta look around at some pictures, and maybe I have the piece, but I'm gonna go with 99.7% sure that I don't have the piece. I could be wrong, but I'll go dig around in the Westchester pile, because there's random stuff down there. I actually originally wanted to build a whole separate shed to keep these things in, because Westchester parts are hard to come by. You don't find them everywhere on the internet, or even in your buddy's scrap pile. So, anyhows, I think that's about all I'm going to do tonight. It is, there's probably glare on the clock. You guys can see it better than I can. Anyhow, it's about 8 o'clock. About 70 degrees in here, so hate to leave while it's warm, but I think I'm just going to call it a night. I need to wrap my brain around what's going on here. As most of my buddies on the Facebook groups are saying right now, welcome to owning a Westchester, Steve. So, that's where I'm at. And I mentioned it, I'd like to pressure wash this thing before I put it back together, at least before I put the fiberglass on it. Yeah, just clean all the oil and stuff off the transmission and the motor, blow all the rest of the sand out of the frame and everything. And then from there, like I said, just kind of piece and part it back together, and pretty much I could wire brush everything, and someday, far, far down the road, maybe 5-10 years, maybe spray this thing orange so it doesn't deteriorate anymore once I get it back into one solid unit. Could be a challenge yet. All I've really got in this thing, new parts wise, Eric did get a hold of me and he did give me that cylinder I put on here. I got a new hose, hydraulic hose for the cylinder. And I remember, I think that cost me about $90 or something. I got a spark plug in it. To do it right, it'd be 4 tires and 4 tubes. And at that point, it might as well just have new split rims on the front. And I think these are just sulky rims on the back. I don't think they're anything special, but if I can reuse them, I would like to. Like I said, that is way, way down the road. And also my speculation, if this thing's set in sand or something, at least on the left-hand side, and both of these motors were like this, so both of these came together from the same guy. He bought them in the same place. I don't know. I never really questioned him on that part too much. He bought them somewhere, and that's been 3 years ago, so that story has escaped me at this point. But anyhow, I think I'm going to call her a night. I think I did talk about the fender situation, because this fiberglass, the rear fiberglass here, is in pretty good shape, except for this right-hand fender. And I do have the piece, that's the lower piece right there. I could probably fiberglass it back together somehow. I am not a fiberglass guy, so that'd be something I would have to figure out. Or, notice it's all bolted together. Or if you come over here, this one, well, it looks like it's cracked. It's actually still in one piece, so it is an option. I would pick it up. Well, see, it's cracked up there. If you guys see that? Yeah, cracked up there too. A little bit of cracking there. The gel coat's coming off a little bit. I do know a bit about fiberglass, but not a ton. So I don't know. And hood-wise, the original hood is pretty decent. This is just a little bit of road rash here, which that one is in better shape, so I could take that off if I want. And the guy gave me these extra fiberglass pieces. I think it was my buddy, my other buddy Steve, from up in the Great North up there. Yeah, and this mesh that's pulled away on the other side wouldn't be terrible to fix. So there's enough parts and pieces here. I can make it decent. Total show winning machine? Probably not. Decent from 25 feet and at least 27 mile an hour. Oh, you betcha. So, alright guys. Mainly a BSing episode. I've got a little bit done, but that's my big plans for the Westchester. I do have a whole other steering wheel and column, and I don't know. The steering wheel really isn't in bad shape. There's only this one crack right here. And the centerpiece is cracked. Right here. I think that piece, oh yeah, it was just sitting in there. I gotta look, see if the other one has a centerpiece in it that's not broke. See if I can get it out of there without breaking it, but probably what I'll end up doing, I get some form of, because it looks like it's just black, just get black RTV and put it back together or something. I don't know. Cross that bridge when I get there. Alright guys, alright. Catch you guys on the next one. Later. Westchester's so stressful.